Hey, what's going on, folks? How we doing tonight? Obviously, we know it's Steelers Eve. I guess we're going to Cleveland. Going to play them tomorrow. Thursday night action. We'll talk about it all. Rich is running a little bit late tonight, but he will definitely be here. He said so. But first, we're going to bring in our guest tonight, and they are Dog Pound fans, but one might be on the edge of changing. But we'll see what he has to say. First, we're going to bring in the Talking Sports by the Lake host, Mr. Evan. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing terrible as it could be when it comes to the Browns. Yeah, you spoke some stuff I wasn't really ready to say, but I'm gonna just come out and say it, man. If anybody needs to go, regardless of the outcome of tomorrow's game, it's D Podesta. Um, I'm a firm believer that he has too much of Jimmy Haslam's ear because of the things that he did for him when it came to that flying pilot J situation, but that's a conversation for another day. I'm the host of Talker Sports by the Lake. You can find me on Open Mic and Talker Sports by the Lake. Bringing some new features to that show, but I'm excited to be here to talk about Browns and Steelers.
Me too. Me too. Evan, you have it's 2-on-1 here tonight. I feel like I'm in a handicap match until Rich gets here.
Oh,
And
shut up!
my buddy Keith, how are you tonight, sir?
What's going on, fellas? I'm doing pretty good. How y'all doing?
Good, good,
I'm doing
good.
great.
I
That's
know
what's up.
Keith, you're talking backstage like we're supposed to get snow down here. You said we're supposed to get rain and sleet tomorrow up by the lake.
Yes.
I'm staying in the house.
All right, Evan, are you going by chance?
Hell no! I sold my tickets.
Um, well, I guess there is one thing on the plate that benefits you guys. Tomorrow night we have Brad Allen as the referee, and his
Mm,
letting home win is up over 70.5%. I don't know if you guys caught this or not, but he is the referee tomorrow night,
mm.
and that is.
Well, he got the rest of the season to help us look decent.
Do you think that's going to play a factor into tomorrow, or what? What
No,
do you guys? What are your thoughts?
Keith, I'll
it
let you go first.
it all depends which Browns team comes out. Now, if they come out, now the Browns team that comes out that won 2 games and had energy comes out and plays tomorrow night because tomorrow is the only game going on, and you don't really want to get embarrassed in front of everybody. If they come out and play, they can make it a competitive game. But if they give a lackluster effort like what happened in New Orleans in the fourth quarter this past Sunday, it could be a long night.
Um, I'm gonna put this one on the fans. If the I'm so serious, and I think Keith will understand exactly where I'm going with this. Tomorrow night, it is on the fans. If you boo these men coming out tomorrow night, whether they deserve it or not, that is your opinion. That is your choice. If you guys boo these guys out the gate, they don't have a chance. Period. I think the fans are everything that this team needs because when the fans are behind them and they are playing terrible and they're showing up and they're showing love, you see a little bit of extra. Did they deserve the love that they got when they beat the Ravens? No. But oh yeah, Jimmy Donovan, rest his soul, had passed away, but
Hmm.
we knew what this team was then. But all week we had positive outlook all week, and at the state and as far as the players could see, and you saw it when they beat the Chargers on Christmas Eve, only win they got that year. Didn't deserve a damn fan in the stadium. The whole lower bowl was full. They won that game. There have been games. There have been times where we should have had no business beating the Bengals on a Monday night or Thursday night or Sunday night, but the fans came and rocked it out, and they did it. I think the fans at this point, right here, right now, have the opportunity to help fire this team up and make a difference, and that's what I want to see.
Obviously, you guys are up there. Have anyone looked at ticket sales to see if Pittsburgh's out buying them again, just as we did last weekend? Has anyone looked at one of the closest drives fans have? And
I think it's going to be a Steelers venue, but I don't think that it'll outweigh a positive Cleveland crowd.
They're I mean, that was 2005.
I can't hear you.
That was what, 2005 that Astros that the Steelers gave them on 41.
I say it all depends tomorrow. Because I'm going to be honest, the weather going to be cruddy, and a lot of people, a lot of Browns fans probably not going to want to come out tonight.
I agree with that.
And it can get really ugly down there if it turns into what it can turn into. Because the worstest feeling would be in your own home stadium, and you got a black and gold fest going on. So hopefully that won't be the case. Hopefully that won't be the case.
And that's part of the reason why I brought up the fans, is because I know very well whether the Steelers are doing bad or doing good. It's more about where the Browns are that shows out how many Steelers fans really do have tickets. Because I've been to games where the Browns, have a losing record, but they done won the last 2 games, or they won the last game. And because of that, you had a Browns crowd versus a black and gold crowd.
Yeah.
So he brings up a great point. Like I said before, this is on the fans just as much as it is on the players.
Yeah.
Now, Evan, you brought it up backstage. How hot of a seat is Fancy on right now for you guys?
I think his seat shouldn't be hot at all. I think it should be as comfy as the seat I'm sitting in. The man just signed a new contract, and so did Andrew Berry. And we're talking about a man that's on a hot seat because Jimmy Haslam, Dee Podesta, and Deshaun Watson wanted to change up the offense. And it didn't make sense because Baker was successful in this offense. The only reason Baker had a bad year is because he refused to get surgery because it was he was going into a contract year. That's the only reason that he didn't want. That's one of the only reasons that I'm willing to talk about, that he didn't want to sit down, and that ended up costing him his career in Cleveland. Going after Deshaun Watson, he showed a lot of glimpses, but let's be honest, he didn't heal from that shoulder injury. And we're now sitting here with an offensive coordinator that didn't work running the same stuff in Buffalo, and look what Buffalo is doing. We got an offensive line coach to replace the guy we had last year who went to Bill Callahan, who went to coach with his son, which you can't be mad at, but you went and got a guy who wasn't that great in Seattle. There's a reason that he was one of the only guys to be let go off of that staff, even after their coach left. What does that tell you? And then you go get high school and college coaches to run positions when you've had success. And a lot of people are going to sit here and say, "Oh, well, Stump went to the media." Of course, Stump went to the media. He knew his job was gone before the regular season was over. Of course, I'm gonna spill the beans. I'm gonna talk about it. This the only he had said this the only place he wanted to be. And now all of a sudden, I'm losing my job because somebody who don't live in Ohio, who don't come to the games, who live in California, is texting my boss's boss saying that we have a better option. going with dudes who weren't successful. So now we sitting here at 2-7 when you let go a key backup. You keep playing patty cake with Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and he just showed you in 2 seasons that he could do something. So now it's on Kevin Stefanski that you done told this man to get rid of his staff. He done fired his best friend where the offense wasn't the issue. It wasn't never the issue. And now we got a power offensive line looking old. But when we run the ball like we did against Jacksonville, when we have a game where we got a quarterback who can stand in the pocket and a decent, I would say decent running game against the Ravens, at least it kept them honest. We look like something. So to me, yes, he's on the hot seat. Should he be? Absolutely not. And if they fire him, I'm done with the Browns. Like I just can't do it anymore. And yes, you can say, oh, you're sitting on the whole two-time coach of the year. When's the last time we had a coach of the year? When's the last time we had any stability from a head coach? When's the last time we saw any progression from a head coach? Composure against the media, against the outsiders, with a head coach. We watched on Hard Knocks. We watched Hugh Jackson and Todd Haley implode because Todd Haley thought he was going to get the job because that's what he was promised. So we finally get a coach. Adam, I understand why you kind of want Tomlin gone, even though I disagree, and I'm pretty sure when Keith hears this argument, he'll agree with what I'm saying. But at some point, you got to go through the hard times because I'm willing to say the Bengals aren't the Bengals right now if they didn't stick with Marvin Lewis. You think Bullock when he was with the Ravens was always great? You thought Jim Harbaugh was always great? So I say stick through it. But I want to see what Keith has to say about it.
Okay. Kevin Stefanski's seat is hot. But I will say this. If the Browns play hard tomorrow, they can lose to Pittsburgh in a competitive game. Stefanski will still be here. Now, if they get lambasted on national TV in front of everybody and that stadium becomes the Black and Gold Palace, you know Jimmy going to overreact. I'm just being
Absolutely.
real. He gonna overreact because you also gotta look at Jimmy trying to get a stadium built as well. So
that stadium gonna happen regardless.
I know that, you know that, but it's bad for optics. You know what I'm saying? And plus,
your stadium's not even that old.
Yes, it is. Look. It's not that the stadium is old.
I
mean, it is old, but it's not the fact that it's old.
It's not that old.
It's the fact that it was poorly built because it was rushed. The city the city didn't have no money to build that stadium, and they couldn't go to the municipal no more. So now we're looking at a stadium that got renovated 6 years ago, and they didn't touch any other foundation.
And now they're saying the foundation is going.
It's cracking.
Bad.
The foundation is cracking. You can see it.
Yeah. And like I said, if the Browns don't get lambasted tomorrow, Stefanski ain't got jack to worry about.
So here's the question. If they play competitive and they win 2 more games all year and they're competitive in every game, does he stay?
He stays.
Because me personally, I don't care if he got a bad year next year.
You just might have one next year because we are in salary cap hell too. So
salary cap don't mean anything. It don't, because you could look at the Rams, you could look at what the salary cap hell that Detroit was supposed to be in when they traded Jared Goff. And the Matthew Stafford deal. You can look at the 49ers. They're supposed to be in salary cap hell. Everybody on that defense is on their second or third contract. The only person that's not is their quarterback. And you telling me all of a sudden, just because their quarterback not paid, they're not in salary cap hell?
Because a lot of the new deals are about to become due. A lot of the new deals about to become due. I think Delpit,
Friendly deal.
yeah, but a lot of them are about to come due. And but if the Browns be competitive somehow, and if they win like 3 of the next 7 games, because 3 of the next 7 games, I'm gonna be honest, it's hard to tell where their next victory is gonna come from. Because you got
I
Pittsburgh tomorrow,
All right.
then you
Okay.
got Denver, and Denver's been playing pretty lights out lately. Then you got Pittsburgh again in Pittsburgh. Then after that, you gotta go to Baltimore, Cincinnati. Then you got Kansas City, Miami, maybe, but the way our weather be up here sometimes, it might be 60 degrees in December. And two of them
Yeah.
be just right. So
But before I let Big Rich go, I got a question. And this was something I was having a conversation with at work. Let's say they win,
You get into more conversations at work, Evan, than I've ever had.
because I work with a bunch of dudes who talk about sports. But that's all
same
we
as
do.
me.
So
Same as
so
me.
my question is, let's say we pull a rabbit out our ass and we beat the
Win
Steelers
tomorrow.
and win tomorrow, and then we don't win another game except against the Bengals. Does that save Kevin Stefanski?
4-13. Let's see.
Because if that's the case, if we win no other games but one against Pittsburgh and one against the Steelers,
Bang.
we done scratched the entire division. And
You know what? You know what? It might save his job for real, because he'll go 3-3 in the division again.
Mhm.
And that's what Stefanski has done since he's been here. Because usually before Stefanski, we was going 1-5 in the division, 2-4, 0-6. But
Right.
if he goes 3-3 in the division, they'll probably grant him a reprieve. But the problem is, it's not necessarily Stefanski. It's at the top of Barry and them with Haslam and D. Podesta.
I don't think
keep them out.
I don't
the way.
think Barry is the issue. I think fans are blaming Barry because they don't understand what D. Podesta's job is. Because let's be honest, and I want to hear Rich and Adam's point or opinion on what I'm about to say. When the Rams traded all those picks to get Matthew Stafford, you knew they were in immediate rebuild, whether they won or not. Correct?
Oh, they were in rebuild, but
Mm-hmm.
Detroit. I mean, look at what Detroit got in all those picks.
Right.
They ended up with Florida. They ended up with Gibbs. They ended up with not Hutchinson. We talked about this last night with Jeremy a little bit on open mic. Who else, Rich? Who else did he say he ended up with?
They ended up getting I'll think of the linebacker's name in a minute.
Jack Campbell.
No.
Alex Alonso.
Begins with an A or whatever. I'm drawing a blank on his name. I love the guy. What is his last name?
It's not the one that pooped himself.
No, but I'm trying to. They ended up getting like 5 starters out of that trade.
Right. So, with that being said, we both understood that both teams were going to enter a rebuild at some point. So, even if Deshaun, let's say Deshaun wasn't Houston Deshaun, but he was at least better than average. And he played, I wouldn't say Joe Flacco like, but it was very comparable. We would still be in the same spot right now. We may have more wins. We may be a more competitive team, but this is the first time that we have a first-round pick. And if you compare what the Rams did versus what we did, we drafted the same. They had a lot of misses. Yes, they got Kyron Williams. Yes, they got Puka Nacua, but who else did they get that was worth anything? Michael Hall, decent. Cedric Tillman, now that he's the number one running the routes that he was used to, decent. You can look at little spots. Cam Mitchell, when he does play and he's healthy, decent. Ronnie Hickman, undrafted free agent, decent. We would have still needed to rebuild this roster. So why would you go get a Mike Vrabel who's the exact same record? Why would we go and take somebody else out the trash heap? They talking about bringing Bill Belichick here. Does that make sense to anybody?
I don't even know
Do
if
you-
Belichick will come here.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Why would you come here knowing that D. Podesta won't get replaced
That's what I said.
or removed?
The only way Belichick or even Vrabel, for that matter, will take over as head coach, they're going to tell them that they got to get D. Podesta up out of there. You remember when the Browns had interviewed Josh McDaniels this
Yep.
last time?
Yep.
Josh McDaniels said the same thing. He said, look, only way I'll take the job is if y'all get everybody up out the business.
Yep.
D.
And that's-
Podesta,
and that-
Jimmy, just cut the checks.
Yep, and that's why John Dorsey left, because he was getting into arguments with D. Podesta while he was drafting great, building a team, which is the same thing he did, excuse me, in Detroit. Same thing he doing in Detroit right now. He gone because we won't get this dude who don't come to the damn facility out the way.
Dude, stay in California. He stay in California and got Jimmy's ear.
All of that comes from, I don't know if you know this, but all of this comes from, you remember the situation where he got in legal trouble and the NFL started to interview him about the money he used to buy the Browns because of the stuff he was doing with Pilot J. Guess who saved his ass?
D. Podesta.
Exactly. That's exactly who saved his ass. And he's been in his pocket. He's been in his pocket and in his ear ever since.
Well, he need to cut ties. He need to cut ties.
And it's sad because he said it when he got in the way and drafted Manziel that he wanted to get football people in here.
He had them in here. He had Dorsey and he had Highsmith in here. He had them. And then they ran them out of here. They ran them both out of here.
I guess we'll let the Squealers guys go.
Rich, I had a question earlier, but you're really good at finding this out fast. What percentage of tickets are sold to Pittsburgh in this game? Usually you're on top of that.
Say that again.
Pittsburgh, are they out buying Cleveland tickets right now? Usually you're on top. Usually
let's see. Usually that comes strictly from the secondary markets. So let me do a little digging while we're talking.
Rich, is Keith on your right? 216.
How you doing?
Doing pretty good. What's going on, Rich?
Good to meet you, man. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
And of course, you know Evan above you.
What's up,
Yeah,
buddy?
what's going on, man? Long time no talk, man.
I know, man. I've been busy. I got some news coming after the show, so
Okay.
some good news.
Looks
Some good news.
Looks like according to Sportskeeda, 47% of the tickets bought on the secondary market are from Steeler related fans. Whether they live near Pittsburgh, whether they have designated that they're a Steelers fan on the website, whatever it is. 47% of the tickets bought on the secondary market. So take that for what it's worth. I mean, how many Cleveland Browns tickets are on the secondary market right now? Half?
I sold them to Browns fans. I ain't
you
no
positive?
sucker. Oh, I know. I've been in their crib. I ain't no sucker. I ain't gonna do my team like that. I may not be messing with y'all right now, but
Here's all I can tell
that.
you. I'm waiting for the Steelers to play a road game this year. That's all I'm telling you.
And I don't know if you caught the beginning of the show, but I said it. I said it right. I said, you can ask them. I said it. I said the way the Browns win this game is the home crowd come and show out. Period. Point blank.
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland has when you talk about those fan bases, that are the most rabid, the most loyal, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
The Cleveland Browns are right there with the Raiders and the Steelers and the Packers and the Bears. And, they're right there with those guys. But situation being what it is, 8-2, 2-8, there's going to be a lot of those loyal quotes Browns fans that are letting their tickets go, because it's a Thursday night game and they probably have work or whatever the next day.
The weather about to be shitty.
The weather is going to be complete garbage. Fantasy football, play your running backs. And then C, just the situation that they're in right now. I mean, Cleveland, Jameis is making it look a whole heck of a lot better than it really could be.
Yeah.
I mean, he's made the proverbial making chicken salad out of chicken shit is really happening with Jameis. I mean, it's not putting a lot of W's up, but you're not. Hey, I got guys an hour and a half up the road from me. I live in Waco, Texas, Keith.
Oh,
I got
okay.
guys an hour and a half north of me that their stadium falling apart. They're that bad.
Mm.
It sounds
You
like
guys heard about
Cleveland,
what
don't it,
happened?
Keith?
You heard what happened Monday night, right?
No, what happened Monday night?
They were going to open the roof for the first time in 2 years. They were going to open the roof, right?
In Dallas.
Huge sheet of metal come falling
Ooh.
down, missed a group of production people by 5 feet. I mean, a huge sheet, about 12-foot piece of sheet metal fell off the roof, and when it landed, it missed the production team by 5 feet at best, maybe closer than that. So, I mean, what Jameis, and I'll tell you what, I heard you guys talking about Stefanski there when I first come on. What Stefanski has done, and you can use the Cowboys as the perfect example, okay? Stefanski has not lost his guys. Those guys are still playing hard for him. From pillar to post, from Jameis Winston to the third string guard, they're all playing hard. They're all putting the best they got out there. They may not be the best talent-wise, but at least they're playing hard. McCarthy has got about 4 guys on that team that are playing hard.
They done checked out.
They checked out on McCarthy and Jerry as soon as Dak went down, and as soon as they got boat raced the first couple of weeks of this. When New Orleans came in and ran over them like they stole something, oh no. Everybody just was like, okay, well, actually, no. It was the Packers playoff game last year.
Yeah.
When Jordan Love walked in there and punched him square in the face, and then he beat him to death.
What's up,
those
Chris?
Guys, and to be honest, I think that if you look at the two teams, there's a lot of similarities between Dallas and Cleveland.
Very, yes, a lot, a whole lot.
But when you look at the coaching staff and how the players are playing, it's night and day. Cleveland's guys are actually giving full effort. They're just not a very good team this year for whatever reason.
Yeah. Oh, I already gave that. I think you might have missed that part, but I gave that reason.
It seemed like for the Browns this year, everything that could have went wrong. The defense tailed off. Special teams is horrible. They're horrible.
You were missing Chubb for the first 6 weeks, right?
Yeah, first 6 weeks. And then, what people don't realize how big of a loss the Bill Callahan loss was. Not only was he the offensive line coach, but he was the running game coordinator.
I like Keith. We got to have him on some more because, God damn, I've been trying to tell people this.
Which is huge. Because think about it. We haven't ran the ball with no authority this year at all.
Can you name our running game coordinator?
It's some guy that was in college last year.
Thank you.
I forgot. He was a guy that was coaching in UConn last year, matter of fact.
He was the UConn offensive line coach.
Yes.
He ain't even been a fucking coordinator. Excuse my language and my yelling, but he hasn't been a coordinator. You bring him in to be the run game coordinator.
That would be one. Nick, don't call me. What the heck was the pit? Norm Charlton.
Chris
Yes.
is making a prediction for Monday night right now.
Chris, I appreciate your comments, but I still want to smoke with your Chargers because if you know what, I'm not even gonna go there. We're gonna keep it on the Steelers and the Browns.
Yeah.
But my question to Adam and my question to Adam and Rich before we really dive into the game is how do y'all feel about Russ now that he sat out and got healthy, and in comparison to what you got from Justin Fields?
We're getting vintage Russ up until the 20-yard line. Then all of a sudden he can't do anything like he did in Denver and put the damn ball in the end zone. And maybe we should maybe Rich was right. I know Rich mentioned it, I believe last night, that he said that we should put Fields in and let him run from the 20 to the goal line.
Those two guys have both had 11 red zone drives as a starter. Justin Fields has scored 9 touchdowns. Russell Wilson scored 7. Proof's in the pudding right there. I didn't really exactly like the Russ move to start with because it seemed like Justin Fields was really starting to hit his groove. He was running the ball a little bit, that kind of thing. And when you got Najee and now you got Warren healthy, and if you have Fields back there, you can do all kinds of craziness at that point. Put both of them out there. Put Wilson and Fields both out there and see what happens. But you got to have Fields out there.
We're not going to win. We're not going to win every game on 6 field
No.
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 We'll win a lot of them, but we won't win all of them.
So here's my question to go back towards the Browns. With Cam Hayward not practicing all week, I'm assuming that is more of a veteran resting than it is an injury. But Alex Highsmith is out. I heard some rumors about Minkah Fitzpatrick in one of your corners. How do you feel about this defense going up against this Browns offense? And the reason I'm asking is because I don't specifically know your numbers in the past game, but the 2 games we've won, those were the 2 teams that had the worst pass defense so far as the schedule has gone to up until that point.
Well, Joey Porter is the corner that you're talking about. Joey Porter Jr., he's going to be fine for Thursday night. He's not even on the injury report for today. So he's going to be fine. Keanu Benton is also not on the injury report. He's listed as probable. He's going to play. That's not going to be an issue. You're exactly right about Cam Hayward. This ain't his first rodeo. So, he needs that time to recuperate in between. Great. See me on Sunday and we'll be happy. So as far as that goes on defense, I'm not that concerned about it. I like the fact that Helbig is back. Because with him being out and Highsmith being out for a while there, that had me concerned. But Herbig is definitely a good supplement to Alex Highsmith. I'd love to have Highsmith out there, of course, but Herbig is definitely proven himself. But the guy that has seemed to really be that guy that nobody pays attention to but always seems to make a big play is Preston Wilson. The kid that's from North Carolina State. He was the ACC Defensive Player of the Year. Wears number 41.
I thought that was Peyton Watson.
Peyton Wilson. I'm sorry, Peyton.
I wanted him in the draft so goddamn bad. Whew.
But the Steelers got him in a trade, actually, and it worked out perfectly that he has been that guy that has been has made that play. You know, when somebody needs a play made, yeah, you depend on TJ Watt, but how big was that? It actually was considered a fumble, but how big was that strip the other night against Baltimore that he made, you know, on that pass? Things like that. You know, he makes a big sack. He makes a big tackle.
Mhm.
He's had a couple of tackles on 3rd and 1 this year to stop the first down. Those kinds of plays are really, really big. And, you know, yeah, they talk about Minka and they talk about TJ and they talk about Hayward. This guy is really proven himself to be a very valuable part of this defense. So is Beanie Bishop, too, by the way.
Isn't he hurt still?
Bishop?
Yes.
Let's see.
And before you go, Adam, I wanted Peyton Wilson not because of what he showed me on tape. I wanted Peyton Wilson because he had black guy swag at North Carolina State, where he had his Zeke Elliott going on, and his stomach and back plate was showing, and he had the neck pad. When I saw that and he was out there lighting people up, I was like, yeah, that's an NFL linebacker. I want that. He the type of dude to eat a steak with his hands and no fork and knife. That's who I want at my linebacker, and that's why I wanted him.
Guy that'll fit. He would have fit right in Detroit and bite people's kneecaps off.
Yep.
It's funny because I wanted Cal Hamilton, and now obviously Raven. So I keep my eye on him, who had a big dropped interception against. Should have sealed the deal for sure against the next team. He dropped that ball. I mean, that was just.
They dropped a bunch of picks that game.
Mhm.
And I hope they do the same thing when we play them again.
That's why it's a defensive back, not a wide receiver, right?
That's not.
That's why
I hate that so bad. I hate that so bad. I hate that term so bad, so much.
Well, I
It
mean,
looks like Bishop is listed as questionable.
Okay.
Damn, tomorrow, Thursday night, ain't it? Damn.
Yep.
It is.
Damn, this week don't went quick.
I'm appreciating it.
How did we get to week 12 already is what I want to know.
Right.
Because it's football. Football, the only season that you wait so long for it and it go by like this.
you know,
Yeah.
we've also lucked out on weather too. That helps a lot.
Yeah, because like you said, we in late November.
Yeah, our winters are getting shorter, and I'm quite appreciative. I lived in Florida for a little bit, and I came back with Florida bones. I don't do the cold no more. And then my second question, and I'm gonna kind of direct it at Adam since Rich took the defensive side. How do you feel Russ will do against the Browns defense? If they come out with energy, how do you think that's gonna go?
You know, George Pickens always seems to play really, really well and come up with some spectacular catches against you guys. I think that is going to be a big key to tomorrow. But like you said, it's going to be shitty out there. You said Keith, it's going to be raining for most of the game, and then it's going to turn into sleet or snow at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to snow before the game start.
Okay, I heard different. Keith said it was going to rain and then turn into snow during the game. So I just went off that. I didn't look up the weather enough.
It's Steeler football.
No, that's
Question
Browns
is-
football.
The question is the run game going to exist? Is Najee Harris going to get it going, or is it going to be the lightning bolt or the thunder of Jalen Warren? Or who knows? Maybe Cordell Patterson will get snuck in this week. And I'm ready to see a touchdown in the red zone. I'm thinking this game is going to be a decent game. I think Winston's going to be on. I think it's going to be a smash mouth game, maybe even a high scoring game, and that's the way I'm looking at it. But I think the offense needs to get going, and we can't rely on the field.
Question for Keith.
Mm-hmm.
As a Browns fan, what are you more afraid of? Are you more afraid of them running the ball all over us because we don't have JOK? Or are you afraid of Russ having a vintage Russ game?
More afraid of them running the ball on us because, as you seen last week, Taysom Hill had one of those games against us, and we knew it was coming. And he went out there like gangbusters on us. So, afraid of the Steelers running the ball because Najee Harris been running well. Jaylen Warren just came back. And you got Cordero Patterson. You got a three-headed monster for Pittsburgh as far as the running backs is concerned. Now, with Russ, I would really be concerned if Fields was quarterbacking. But I know Russ can't really beat us with his legs. But I know, and you also got to look at the surprise plays with Fields because they did use Fields on a couple of plays last week against Baltimore.
I think we're going to see a whole lot on both sides of running backs and tight ends. Because if the weather is going to be as trash as they're saying it's going to be a whole lot of dump offs, quick slants, dump offs, button hooks, and that kind of thing. You know, Freiermuth runs that little hook that he runs, 7 yards, pop, right there between the eights. Warren with that little dump off to Harris, little dump off to Patterson, maybe. And I think it could be the same way with Cleveland. Little dump off to Chubb, little dump off to Ford, a lot to Njoku, who seems to always play really well against Pittsburgh for some reason.
That's the only time they throw the ball to the damn tight end.
But I don't think it's going to be much in terms of a wide receiver game at all. I think it's going to be a whole lot of running backs and tight ends, and the receivers are going to pretty much be decoys, I guess.
I kind of agree, but I kind of have one bone to pick. I think Pickens and Tillman both have a good game, and it's because it's less about the fact that they can get the deep ball going. I think it's more about the fact that those are the two physical receivers on both rosters, and I feel like once both teams try to take away the tight ends and the dump offs, and it becomes a passing game late, I feel like whoever can make a play by the numbers, I think that's going to be the receiver that has the better game. But I think those two will show up at some point.
Well, and probably the biggest key to that is who handles the weather best.
Yeah.
And Russ has played in a whole lot worse weather than Jameis has.
That's true, but
Fields.
Patrick Mahomes ain't playing in shitty weather until he got to Kansas City, so I'm not really worried about it. Football is football.
What? You ever been to Lubbock?
So you telling me it's worse than Kansas City?
Yep. At times, yes, sir. All day long, yes, sir.
At times,
because not only do you have the cold weather and the snow, but then you get 40-mile-an-hour wind cutting across those plains and all that. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But where was he at? So Lubbock is where Texas Tech is. Okay.
Texas Tech.
I stand corrected. I'll give you that one.
Oh yeah. I'm a Tech guy, so that. Whew. And it don't matter. AT&T Stadium is that Jones AT&T Stadium is where they play, and they've got it set. I don't know why they did it when they built it, but that's some dog. It's just like if you were at Acrisure and you had the wind going all the time straight through that horseshoe. It's like, what are you doing? But boy, oh yeah. So Mahomes had some experience doing that stuff before he got to KC. Then, of course, when he got to KC, but Fields has had the issue, when he was at Ohio State and when he was at Chicago. And now, Russ being in Seattle, playing at Wisconsin, then playing in Seattle, and then playing in Denver. Where
was he? He was at NC State, right? Before
he went from Wisconsin to NC State, yeah.
Okay.
But I think one deciding factor in this game will probably definitely be the special teams.
We lost.
That would be one deciding factor. Boswell been lights out for Pittsburgh. And Our kicker Dustin Hopkins has been
Shot
Yeah.
in the foot.
right because he missed 2 makeable field goals
3.
last week. Well, he actually missed 3, but like the 50-yarders, those either here or there. But when you miss a 32 and a 27,
So that makes 4.
it's actually 3. It was 3.
Well,
It's
he
3.
missed the 51. He
Yep.
missed the 32. He missed the 27, but it was a penalty, and then he missed it again.
That's the 32 that became the 27.
Okay.
That's the 32 that became the 27. And he missed all 3 badly. And we all know down on the lake, with it snowing and everything, that's going to be a big key to the game. And our punt return team has been horrible.
No. All of special teams has been terrible.
All the special teams been terrible, except for the punter, Bjorkis. That's been it.
Whoever, I can't even think of the dude's name. I'm so mad at him. The dude that they brought in to run special teams, they need
Come
to
on,
put belt.
Ventrone. Ray
Yeah,
Ventrone.
Bubba Ventrone. They need to put
Yeah.
belt to ass to him in the locker room. They got to fix this because that is fucking trash. How are you worse than the dude you replaced,
Yeah.
who was trash? He
Yeah.
was so bad, he was bottom of the league.
Ask Aaron Rodgers.
Hey,
Hey,
the fact
So-
that the owners came out and said, I wanted his ass benched in week 4, what does that tell you?
I know, but he's worse than Zach Wilson. Look at the numbers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
So-
the funny part is if he was still in Green Bay, I think he'd be productive.
So
I
you
really
two
do.
are familiar with what? Did you guys see that Savage is now an internal GM for the Jets?
You talking about Phil
Phil
Savage?
Savage,
Yeah.
Wow.
burn, baby, burn.
How
That's
fast?
all that's gonna be.
I made the statement, and it was so funny because Nick Wright came this close to saying the exact same, or I'm sorry, Colin Cowherd came this close to saying the exact same thing earlier today. Aaron Rodgers is the LeBron James of the NFL.
Nope, no, that is so goddamn disrespectful.
Oh, no, it's not. Think
we can
about
go
it.
there. Let's go there.
Look
I'm
at what
ready.
Aaron Rodgers
Come on,
has
no,
done.
come on. I'm
Aaron
ready.
Rodgers has
I'm
caused
ready.
the coach to get fired. He's caused the GM to get fired. He's caused players to not be signed. He's caused players to get signed that aren't performing, i.e. Devontae Adams. He's caused all these. He is the LeBron James. You tell me one team in the NBA Bronny James would play for if his old man wasn't LeBron James.
No.
He
Please
would've-
tell me one.
He would still be in college because he had a heart attack. He only came out because his father about to retire.
But I will say the one mitigating factor with the Aaron Rodgers, LeBron thing is LeBron's still putting out. Aaron Rodgers.
And he
That's
won.
the biggest
Horrible.
difference.
And he won.
I
He
understand
won.
that, but
Yeah.
they're doing the exact same thing to their team.
No, they're not. No, they're
Yeah,
not.
they are.
No, they're not. No,
Who
they're not.
determines the coach
No,
of
they're
the
not.
Lakers?
You
Who determines the coach
wait,
of the Lakers?
watch this. You're
LeBron
right.
James.
You're right. But watch this. Are the Jets any better if they don't have Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
No, because they still would have had Zach Wilson, or they would have drafted a scrub because they can't never draft a quarterback, and it would have been the same shit all over again.
Dude, that team has given up on Aaron Rodgers, man.
They gave
You
up
had
on
a 3-man rush on that last 3 against 5, and he got sacked on the last play. Do you honestly think they blocked one bit for him on that play?
We know that they
of
did.
course not.
They gave up on him in training camp when he was out there smoking weed.
You could put Trey Lance back there,
Actually,
and they would play harder for Trey Lance than they're doing for Aaron Rodgers. You could put Zach Wilson back there now.
the
and he would
change
play
in that
harder than he
team,
do.
the change in that team was when they was having OTAs, and Aaron Rodgers was supposed to show, but he went to Egypt. And that
Yep.
set the bad vibes with that team ever since.
Thinks he's better than the team. Sound
It's just
familiar?
like
No,
and think about this. It's just like with the Cincinnati Bengals. I think the way that they did Jamar Chase and T. Higgins set up precedents for why they're 4-7 now.
Hey, watch this. I'm predicting it right here, right now. T. Higgins will be a Cleveland Brown, and Jamar Chase will be a Pittsburgh Steeler or a Baltimore Raven.
Ooh.
I'm telling you right now, they are both staying in the division.
I could definitely, no questions asked, see T. Higgins in Cleveland. There's a few teams that I could see T. Higgins fitting in perfectly. No questions asked. Jamar in Pittsburgh? Yeah, of course I would take it. I mean, shit, who wouldn't? Let's see. I'm going to give you the second best receiver in football. Let's see. I got to think. No, of course I'm not thinking about that.
It's happening. I'm telling you.
But boy, I'll tell you what, T. Higgins in Cleveland, that would make a nice combination. It really would. It would make a nice combination. But we gotta get into the thing of, does T. Higgins have Alvin Harper disease? We got to get into that. Because remember, Alvin Harper was a great 2 with the Cowboys, went to Tampa to be a number 1, flamed out. If he's going to Cleveland to be the 2, that's cool. Is he going to be able to be the 1?
I don't think he would be the number 1 if he joined us today.
You don't think? Cedric Tillman?
No.
Pittsburgh all the time.
Huh? What'd you say, Adam?
We see that in Pittsburgh all the time.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Whenever guys leave and get told they're going to be a number 1 out there, we get told then they just absolutely bite the dust.
The only one that didn't was Plexico.
Right.
Right. If they stay with us, it's a whole different thing. Because if you remember correctly, a guy named Antonio Brown was the number 2 for a long time under Hines Ward. And then he became the number 1, and you saw what happened. But, Adam's right. You've seen a lot of guys that have left and just went.
Can I? That's a great point, Adam. But it makes me bring the question of how many receivers that were number 2s or even borderline number 1s left their drafted team and went somewhere and became great, or even maintained what they were.
So what are you determining? Because Plexico Burris left, won a Super Bowl. Juju left, won a Super Bowl.
No, Plexico left and was productive. Juju was on the right squad.
I'm just saying they left and won a Super Bowl.
No,
Okay,
I'm saying production.
Yeah, leave and become the number 1. Leave as the 2 and become the number 1.
I can't really think of one. I mean, Juju got signed by New England and he did nothing.
Right. He won in Kansas City because he was in Kansas City.
Mike Wallace left and did nothing.
I'm saying all around the league. Name a number 2 that went somewhere.
That's what I'm trying to think.
I mean, MVS is starting to look good finally in New Orleans.
Yeah, but it's only
they don't have nobody else.
Hurt, and so is Raheed Shaheed.
Yeah, but we're talking about guys going somewhere that were a number 2 and now are number 1.
He wasn't. But that's the point that Rich is making. He's not a number 1 if Rashid is healthy, and Rashid ain't number 1 if Olave is healthy.
Right. The only.
You can't say D-Jack because he was, regardless of what people want to say, he was number 1 in Philly before he left the first time. The only guy that I could think of is Randy, but that's if people that's only because they had Chris Carter.
Jerry Rice.
He was already a number 1.
Yeah, he was already a 1. What about DJ Moore?
No.
DJ Moore was good last year.
He was good, but if you look at the numbers, would you really say he was any different? Because if you look at what he was before he got traded from Carolina, and what he is now, it's nothing different because he's the only guy they got.
Okay, well, I guess since we're going to Carolina, Steve Smith, he did pretty good in Baltimore.
Yeah, but didn't they still have Derek Mason?
I don't think yeah, but at that time, I don't think Baltimore had a true number one.
I'm trying to think. I don't even remember who the quarterback was. for
Okay.
Baltimore that-
Flacco.
Flacco?
Yeah, they had Derek Mason. They had Derek Mason, Jones, and Steve Smith.
Yeah. Go ahead, Keith. You're awfully quiet on this subject.
I don't know of any for real. I don't know of any.
I'm trying to think.
What about Musha Muhammad? Was the number two in Carolina under Steve Smith, and then was on that Super Bowl squad before they got Brandon Marshall in Chicago.
Maybe.
I can't think of no receiver.
The
Was Rex Grossman the quarterback for the Bears now?
It was a mix between Rex Grossman and Jay Cutler.
Butler.
If anyone has any answers out there, chime in. Because I mean, Keenan Allen was the number one and left, and he's not having a great year at all.
What about Jennings?
Greg Jennings.
When he left Green Bay and went to Minnesota.
I don't think.
I don't remember what he did in Minnesota.
Because Donald Driver was the one in Green Bay. There's no question about that.
And then Jordy Nelson took over.
Yeah. By the way, Adam, the echoes.
Yeah, I gotta move. We figured this out. If I move away, it's not there.
If you what?
If I move away from the mic, it ain't there.
Is it because you got that second head?
Yeah, apparently it's something in this. So I need to find a set of headphones without. I guess these are for phones.
Go to Dollar General and get that Xbox headset. You can plug it into your computer, and it comes with a mic.
Well, I mean, I got this mic.
I mean, it looked good. But if you can't hear,
Oh, I can hear. I just if I get the two mics too close together, it echoes.
that sounds uncomfortable.
Yeah, I cannot think of any two wide receivers that left and became anything.
Didn't. I mean, there's been a few that have stayed with this team. You know, like when Edelman was the two for Welker, and then when Welker left, Edelman became the one.
Whereas Randy Moss called him Edelman.
Could you say T.O.? Because nobody argued Randy because he had Chris Carter. So T.O. had Jerry. And he became the number one when Jerry left, and then became the number one everywhere else.
Right. Yeah, T.O. started with that same team when Jerry retired. Yeah. He did the same thing as Edelman. Yeah.
But
and
then
Antonio Brown.
But the reason I say T.O. is because you think about Dallas, you think about Philly. He was the number one.
You know, playing on the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he stayed as the one every place he went. Yeah. Until he went to Cincinnati.
That was the saddest, happiest thing I ever saw.
That was when I found out he was going to Cincinnati. I just blanked. I mean, think about it. What's the last place you would have figured T.O. would end up?
I wanted to see that. I wanted the 3 or 4 years before it happened. Because then it would have really been something.
Carson Palmer, right?
You would have had Carson Palmer, TJ
yeah.
Houshmandzadeh, Ocho, and Tio.
Yep.
That would have been ugly. And then you had Theo playing on Viagra. You guys know?
Yeah. Well, then you would have had T.O. being a little. You'd have T.O. complaining because he was third. On that team, he's the number 3 receiver.
I don't know, Rich.
At that point in his career, you can't say he was better than Ocho. He might have been better than TJ, but I wouldn't even say that.
Yeah, but I'm saying like 3-4 years before he actually went there.
So, like in his Philly years?
No. In his last 2 decent years in Dallas, you take that. His last 2 decent years in Dallas, and you put that in Cincinnati.
I think he'd have been the 2 in Cincinnati. Ocho was good, man.
Yeah, very slept on. Very slept on.
Mm-hmm.
But we are reaching an hour, and I gotta have a conversation with Rich and Adam and Keith. I actually kind of want you there for it too. So I want to ask this final question: score predictions.
Okay.
Are we doing player of the game too or no?
We can.
I'm saying the Steelers win 28. I'm saying 28-14. Saying we do have a defensive touchdown to put it out of reach of 13, and I say the Winston interception happens late in that fourth quarter, and it does go back to the house. Steelers win 28-14. And another thing we didn't even talk about on this whole thing is, why does Myles Garrett want an apology? I think this is the most retardedest thing I've ever heard. First off, he out-sacked your ass. He out-tackled your ass, and you still got Player of the Year. Yeah, TJ Watt has the right to be a little bit frustrated over that shit last year.
You switched it. I'll put it this way. Because I got a little insight on it. You switched TJ Watt and Myles Garrett. Who's the better player? Who has the better numbers?
So you're telling me I'd have to cheer for Myles Garrett, or is this like
if we drafted TJ Watt and y'all drafted Myles Garrett, who's the better player?
That's hard to tell.
No, it's not.
Garrett.
Thank you, Rich, for being honest.
Because Myles never had nobody on the other side. And where TJ Watt had Highsmith on the other side, you also got Hayward up the middle. Now you got Patrick Queen now. He had a better cast around him than Myles Garrett ever had here.
But if you use that logic, then you got to shoot stuff down for guys like Reggie White too, and Jerome Brown, and even guys like that. Just because you have more
back, Adam.
Just because you have more pieces on that line doesn't mean that it takes away from the player.
No, don't take away from him.
I just think the system in Pittsburgh would be different than in Cleveland. I mean, let's be honest. They're both studs. Okay.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think either one in the Pittsburgh system would be better than in the Cleveland system.
That's why there's an apology requested. And it's because, and it's not to say that Myles doesn't appreciate Cleveland. It's to say you're getting praise because you have to do one thing. And you're not getting double as much as me, yet alone triple teamed as much as me.
TJ Watt has not had one guy on him in his career.
Myles Garrett has had the highest double team rate of the two. since Myles Garrett has been in Cleveland.
I don't know if there's got to be.
You could. I'll put it to you like this. I will point out games you could go look up right now. You can go look at the highlights right now. Myles Garrett is getting blocked by 3 to 4 guys right now.
I know. TJ Watt hasn't happened.
I ain't never seen it.
Happens all. In fact, it'll probably happen at some point tomorrow night.
It won't.
You just always see the highlights of him being by himself, sacking a quarterback or making a big play.
Right, and it's always when he's by himself. You telling me he got dogged by Juwan Jones last year in both games. Dogged. Am I wrong? We're sitting here talking about a dude who has won a game in every single way possible. And you keep giving credit to a linebacker who they don't ask to do linebacker things. Versus the number one pass rusher in the league.
Okay, I mean we're always going to see different because that's your team and that's your guy.
Myles Garrett could be a Raven, and I'm still giving you the same smoke. Myles Garrett is miles ahead of everybody. You could put Myles on any team other than the Browns, and he's still giving that smoke. He is still considered the best pass rusher, period.
You could say the same thing about Watt. You could say the same thing about Michael Parsons.
No, you can't.
Same thing about Michael Parsons.
Michael Parsons not there yet.
Michael Parsons is a top 5, probably top 3 defensive player in football right this second.
When have you ever said Myles Garrett was probably outside his first 2 years?
No, I haven't. The only thing I'm
That's
saying
my point.
I'm just saying he's probably top 3. He's definitely top 5. The only other 2 guys you can put in the discussion are Max Crosby and Joey Bosa.
Nick Bosa.
My bad. Thank you. Outside, you can put those 2 in there and have a valid point. Put those 5 in a tumbler. Pull them out however you want to pull them out. And there's your top 5 in the NFL. I don't think there's any argument there.
No, and that's only because Joey and Khalil is old. Because if they were young, we're not talking about Michael Parsons.
But if you took Micah and put him in Pittsburgh and took Bosa and put him in Cleveland and took Garrett and put him in Dallas, we're still having the same conversation.
No, we're not.
Yeah,
Myles Garrett is still that man.
He's not that much better than the other guys.
Yes, he is.
He's elite, but he's got people in the crowd with him. He's not on his own. Sorry.
The closest person to Nick Bosa, closest person to Myles Garrett is Nick Bosa. And it ain't close.
That's one we will have to agree to disagree on because I'll never say that.
You think Max is ahead of that?
I think he's in the discussion. I think
So you're not willing to say that you consider it, but you're not willing to stand on it.
That Crosby's better than Garrett?
No, I'm not saying better than Garrett. I'm saying better than Nick.
I think they're the same guy.
Then
I think they're equally as good.
We just got.
And if you want to talk about a guy who has had absolute trash to work with, is Max Crosby.
Myles Garrett has had worse.
Okay, that's one that's right neck and neck there. Bosa's at least had. You keep talking about TJ Watt. Let's talk about the 49ers defense.
Fred Warner.
When he's had Warner and Buckner and all those guys.
I agree. There. I agree there.
If you're going to hammer TJ, you got to hammer Bosa for it too.
I will. But you see Nick win more off of double teams than you do TJ. And when TJ went up, not TJ. And when Nick went up against DeJuan Jones, what happened? Wait. That wasn't DeJuan. I apologize. We're not gonna go there. That wasn't DeJuan. But we tried to agree to disagree. Keith, what is your score prediction?
My score prediction is I got the Browns giving it a fight, but I think Pittsburgh will pull it out late. Boswell field goal at the end, be 16-13 Pittsburgh.
Rich.
I'm going along the same lines as Keith. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game than what Adam's talking about. Defenses are definitely going to be key in this. I'm going and this. The number was in my head before we even talked about this. 17-7 Steelers.
Keith, I had more faith than you, but it's okay.
Our special teams is I can't trust Hopkins no more.
I don't either. That's why I got the Browns winning 14-10. I think the defense comes up with a play in the fourth quarter because Russ can't beat us with his legs. And I think it's going to be between Martin Emerson and George Pickens on a jump ball or a Myles Garrett sack.
I hate to go this route, but remember, also in the back of my head, Tomlin does not know how to get his guys to play really well against shit.
I didn't hear you, but I'm going to act like you agree with me.
I just said Tomlin doesn't know how to prepare his team to play against shitty teams.
I still can't hear you.
Oh, you heard.
He's basically saying that Tomlin doesn't know how to prepare his players to play against shitty teams.
Then how you been beating the Browns all these years?
I promise you, the Steelers could win the Super Bowl this year. He's going to find something wrong with Tomlin.
Y'all hired Mike Tomlin in 2008. Do you understand that he's only lost to the Browns 6 times?
Understand?
And one tie.
And I've been to 2 of them.
And his record against the Bengals is even better.
It is.
I think the last time we lost to the Browns in regular season was on Thursday Night Football.
No, last year.
Who's the only team that has Lamar pigeonhole?
The Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? Where's that come from?
But wait, is that the last time we lost was that the last time we lost in Cleveland? Was that Thursday night game where it was -83?
No, y'all lost last year.
Last year we lost in Cleveland.
I thought we lost.
Lost 13-10.
I thought that was my bad.
So who's player of the game? You guys are talking about we got a player of the game on this game. Who you got?
I'm going first. Nick Chubb.
Valid choice.
Nick Chubb, because it's a run game. You got to run the ball this week.
It's the revenge game for him.
It's not necessarily that it's revenge. Even though I didn't think about that, that's a good point. But I think the weather plays into it so much. You're gonna have to run the ball. Especially in the red zone. You're not giving it to Jerome Ford. Freeman hurt again. So who you gonna give it to? Nick.
Yeah.
And each week he's gotten better. So you telling me he can't? If Nick gives us 110 yards, we win the game.
Adam.
Are you guys aware that Derrick Henry has not rushed for over 100 yards against the Steelers ever in his career?
Yeah.
I want him out the league. I want him fined for what he did to JOK. Because that's targeting.
Keith, your player of the game, buddy.
It's going to be Myles Garrett.
Well, we're gonna have a heavy.
I think he's
talk
going
on
to show and prove why he was defensive player of the year last year.
Keith, if you come on, we're gonna have an open sports mic on Tuesday.
We gonna have to do this Thursday night.
Adam, who you got?
I got what?
Oh, you got what? I was thinking a lot.
Can't even find that bum
but
ass jersey.
I'm gonna go way off the page. Justin Fields.
If that happens, I ain't even gonna lie to you.
I think he runs into two scores.
You're taking Russell Wilson? Is that what I heard? That was fighting the jersey off the hook.
No, Fields.
You believe in him so much, you won't even show the name on the jersey.
There you go.
I guess I gotta say congratulations to Chris Dale today, too.
Yep. Peg that one.
I so wanted Skeens to get it.
Wasn't gonna happen, man.
Keith, I'm sure you doing baseball were paying attention to that before.
And Scooble was unanimous.
Wait a minute, who got the Cy Young?
Chris Dale.
Scooble and Chris Dale.
Congrats to Terry Scooble. Congrats to him.
Classe got votes.
I got a baseball question before we get off of here.
Yeah, buddy.
Do you know the name of our second baseman? I can't think of it right now.
Andres Jimenez.
Andres Jimenez.
If he doesn't perform in the first half of the season, is he traded? Because we just drafted the number one pick. At second baseman. Because he's making $17 million this year.
He made too much money.
Pisano was doing it in the minors last year.
Right, but if he goes into the minors this year and he's hitting 240 and hadn't driven any runs or stolen any bases, you're going to bring a guy up?
I agree with what you're saying.
I think
the
it
talk is
100%
already-
what he's done.
So you think they keep him all next year?
Yeah. It'll be hard to justify three-time Gold Glove winner.
Unless you were able to get a valuable piece for him. And the kid you're going to bring up is performing tremendously well in the minors. If you can do both of those things, then yeah. But if you can't get a valuable piece, and if you can't get that kid coming up to play as well as Jimenez does, then no, I wouldn't trade him.
I know it's way too early, but some baseball guys that are saying if he plays terrible offensively, he's going to be traded. And their prediction it'll be him and David Fry for
David Fry going to be on the shelf most of next year.
Yeah, but he'll be back before the trade deadline. At least that's what I heard.
Because he just had that elbow surgery.
But nonetheless, I'm a football and a basketball guy. But
See, this is where we've been Mark supposed to come on too.
So who wants to go first? About where they can find it?
About what?
Where they can find us?
Oh, go ahead. You're our guest.
Yeah, y'all are the guests. Go ahead.
You can check me out on All About Sports.
All About Sports
216. Matter of fact, tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock for the Browns pregame show. I don't know if it's going to be a post game. It's going to be a little late. Brother man got to go to work on Friday. But definitely tomorrow for the Browns pregame show. You can find me on the Allen Viz 2 media channel on YouTube. Or you can find me on Facebook on Keith Allen Viz Media. Or you can also find me on LinkedIn and on X.
All right, we're sticking with the X today, guys. We're not calling it.
I'm gonna call it Twitter.
Twitter.
Sure, I'll go second in my show, but I'll go second. Why not? You can find us on Driving to the Top Productions on YouTube. Obviously, Chris popping in with some questions tonight. I thank you for that. You can find me at Sports Talk Get on X. You can find me on Driving to the Top also on X. You can get us there. Leave comments everywhere. You know, we talk. We're not going to rip your head off, even though we might get into some heated discussion about Myles Garrett and TJ Watt. But you know, it's all friendly.
It's not heated when you know who it is.
I'm never going to put Myles Garrett as number one, right? So anyway, Evan, how people get you, buddy?
So you guys can find me at Tucker Sports by the Lake on Twitter, because that's what my mama call it. You can find me at Brogdon Evan on Twitter. You can find me on. I'm not giving out my Facebook. You can find me here on Driving to the Top Productions. On open mics here on Steelers podcast. Here talking about the Browns, the Cavs, which is something I'm trying to put together right now. I might have to get my man Keith here so we can talk some hoops. But yeah, you can find me all around here in all aspects. We're Driving to the Top. We're Driving to the Top Productions.
I guess it's me, huh?
Yeah.
Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it this week. It's Go Big, Go Home Pod. On Facebook, it's Rich Richardson. Hit me up either way. Love to get a chance to talk to you. If you think our opinions are right, they were right. If you think we're full of crap, you got a valid reason why it is. Tell us. And we'd love to have a talk with you. Hit us up, Driving to the Top Productions. We do open mic on Tuesday night. Adam and I do this Steelers Pirates chat on Wednesday nights. And you never know where I'm going to turn up.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you for tuning in. Everyone out there, like I said, you got comments, leave them. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, turn on the notifications. And everybody have a good night, guys.